Well, good morning. My name is Barbara Colbert.
And I'm Patricia Sartini.
Today, we're here to talk about the difference between weights and volume and how we measure those.
So, what is weight and volume, right? Weight is actually how heavy a substance is. So things like grams of salt or pounds of pasta, they're all measured in weight, and you need a scale for that.
Okay. And volume is the amount of space that substance occupies. Things like cups of flour, gallons of milk, pretty much any of the liquids.
So a lot of people get confused when you hear the words ounces and fluid ounces. They sound the same, but they actually mean different things. So ounces is always by weight. Fluid ounces is a volume. It's a liquid measurement. Okay. So we're going to look at some examples so we can clear up some of the confusion. When you look at a measuring cup, it's going to say 8 ounces here, right? This is actually fluid ounces.
Right.
So let's see how that works. First thing you want to do is when you are weighing something, you're going to put your container on the scale and you're going to tare it.
Okay, so what does that mean, tare it?
So that means that you are removing the weight of the container. So you just get the weight of the substance inside of the container.
Oh, so they do that as well with our vegetables and fruit and things like that when they're trying to weigh it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when you are preparing a recipe, you're going to use one of those scales. Those are spring-loaded scales. And one thing that's important to notice is that you should never carry your scale from the top here. Lifting by here, you're stretching the spring, so your scale is not going to be as accurate anymore. So let's look at how to tare one of those scales here. So this one is a pound scale. If you have it on 0 and you put your product, let's suppose you're weighing corn, you put it in here and you put it in on the scale.
Okay.
You're going to see that, well, just the container by itself, it's 1 pound.
Oh, wow.
Right? So if you're measuring your product before 0 at the scale, what's going to happen there?
It's going to be incorrect.
It's going to be incorrect. Your recipe is going to be incorrect. So you're going to put your container in there and you're going to move your scale to 0. This way you only have the weight of the product that you're.
Well, that's what we always want to do, right?
Absolutely.
To make sure we get the right amount of that product of what our recipes is telling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to the digital scales just because it's easier to see. So you're going to put your container there, you tare the scale. Now we have 0 in there.
Okay.
If you are weighing, if you look at the weight for water, 1 cup of water is going to weigh 8 ounces, about 8 ounces.
Okay.
This one's a little bit over, but that's okay. So water is a reference point. So 1 cup of water is always going to weigh 8 ounces. Now, if we look at different products, like for example, rice.
I got that for you.
Do you think that's going to be the same? So 1 cup of uncooked rice is actually 6 ounces.
Why is that?
Because rice is a lot heavier and more dense than water, right? Let's look at cereal. So 1 cup of cereal is about 1 ounce, 1.1 ounces.
Yeah, you got a lot of space in between there, and it's much lighter, right, than water?
It's much lighter, more fluffy, and it creates a lot of air pockets. It doesn't take up all the space in the cup, right? Another good example that you can see the difference is with marshmallows.
What are you doing?
So you want to 0 out the scale.
So that's tearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then you're going to weigh 8 ounces of marshmallow. When you look at marshmallows, if you weigh 8 ounces of marshmallows, that's going to be a lot more than 1 cup, right? But if you want to measure 1 cup, so 1 cup of marshmallows is actually 1.9 ounces. That's a very good example of how 1 cup is not always 8 ounces. It's going to depend on what product you are measuring.
Okay. It's good to know. This one's much lighter as well, and it's fluffy and got a lot of air pockets.
Yeah, this one's a lot lighter. very fluffy, so it takes up a lot more space. Another example that's easy to visualize is flour. So this one here is 1 cup of flour, okay? And then this one here is 8 ounces of flour by weight. So this one is 8 ounces by volume because you use the cup. This one here is 8 ounces by weight
Because we use the scale.
because we use the scale.
All right.
Always need a scale for weight.
Okay. It's good to know.
And see how the difference, how much more flour you get if you're using,
It's a big difference.
yeah.
Okay. What about that cheese?
Cheese is one that we see a lot of confusion, right? Because a lot of the times our recipe calls for,
Well, 1 ounce of cheese, sometimes 2 ounces of cheese.
yeah,
Okay.
we have a lot of recipes that calls for 2 ounces of cheese. So
This is a 2 ounce cup.
can we put 2 ounces of shredded cheese in there?
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see it.
All right. So we're going to put our cup on there.
All right, you want to tear the scale. And
Okay.
this is our shredded cheese. So this is actually 1 ounce.
Wow. Wow. So we're trying to get 2, but it's 1 ounce. Just because the cup says 2 ounces, that does not mean that you can get 2 ounces of shredded cheese in there, right? Because, what is this?
This is
By weight?
by weight.
Lot is lighter. Lots of air pockets. And let's see what the liquid
Let's
is.
see what the liquid cheese does.
Yeah.
So if you have a cheese,
I got it. It likes me.
you lose. If you're measuring cheese sauce for a nacho,
In a 2 ounce cup, you're going to pretty much get 2 ounces, right?
right?
Why is that?
Because the liquid cheese takes up all the space in the cup and it's a lot heavier and denser than the shredded cheese.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we do if we actually need 2 ounces in a cup? 2 ounces of shredded cheese in a cup?
We're going to have to use a bigger cup.
Yeah,
Right.
right. The bigger cup. So
Boom. We got 2 ounces of cheese. Okay. You can go a little over, not under. But pretty much use a bigger cup, you can get those 2 ounces of cheese in that cup.
So for the 2 ounce cheese, you actually need to use a 4 ounce spoodle, which is the same as our smart mouth pizza recipe, right? When we're building our pizzas, we use a 4 ounce spoodle to get 2 ounces of cheese. Now I can see the difference there. So what happens if we are serving broccoli, like broccoli bites?
Well, we use number 8 scoop.
We do. We use a number 8 scoop for the broccoli bites. Do you think we can fit broccoli in a scoop?
It's a lot of different shapes and things of that nature. So we try to get it in there, but
We
I
do.
think we need to weigh it.
What we have to do is look at our recipes, and you're gonna see that half a cup of broccoli is actually 1.11 ounces. And like you said, you can always go a little bit over, but never under, right? We can always serve a little bit more, but we can never reduce our portion sizes. So once you measure your broccoli and you know how much space 1.11 ounces take, you are able to scoop the rest of the trays and make them all even. But you want to make sure that all the portions have at least 1.11 ounces.
Right. We want to be consistent, right? Got to be consistent, follow our recipes, and make sure that our presentation is nice. Nothing looks better than all of our vegetables looking the same size. Because if you ever see those kids reach back to the back of the serving line to get that big portion of fruits or broccoli, that's pretty much what's happening, So you want to make sure they're all consistent where they can reach from the front. They're not having to go across, right?
Right. So let's look at the differences between our measuring scoops and spoodles, right? We have the number 8, like we said, it's the most common that we use for half a cup of
Right.
fruits and vegetables. And do we know what the number 8 actually means?
Well, it means I need 8 scoops of the number 8 scoop to fill up that quart.
That's correct. So the number 8 is not a measure of volume or weight. It's just how many scoops you need to fill out a quart container. So number 8, you need 8 scoops. If you're using the number 10, you need 10 scoops.
Wow, I bet you didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So when you are looking at spoodles, it's going to be a little bit different. Like for example, this one says 4 ounces. This gets confusing because this is actually for fluid ounces. So this here is talking about the volume of the scoop, not the weight. That's the reason we cannot use those scoops for weight, because we don't actually know how much a product's gonna weigh. So let's think about this. Let's suppose that you're scooping rice on your student's plate. We need 1 cup of rice, so we need 2 4-ounce spoodles, right? So you scoop the two spoodles of rice on the plate. You don't know how much that rice actually weighs. You just know that it is 1 cup. Now, if you're scooping, for example, popcorn, and you do the 2 scoops, we know that popcorn is going to be a lot lighter than rice, right? So popcorn is light and fluffy, so it's going to take a lot more space, and you're going to have a lot lighter product. We know that the popcorn is going to be lighter, but we don't know how much it weighs. So when you are using spoodles, it's very important to make sure that you are going by the fluid ounces, not by the weight of the scoop. Right? If you are preparing fruits and vegetables, you can use either one or the other. You could use the number 8 scoop or the 4-ounce spoodle. They both have a cup. But it's very important to remember that those numbers mean different things. If you need a reference for those, the Basics at a Glance can tell you how many ounces it is on a number 8 scoop. Another thing that's important to remember is that if your recipe calls for, let's suppose, a number 10 scoop, and you don't have a number 10 scoop in your kitchen, so what do?
We look at our Basic at a Glance.
Basics at a Glance is very, very helpful.
Yes, good reference.
So we're going to look at your Basics at a Glance, and you're going to see that a number 10 scoop is actually 3/8 of a cup. Then when you go to the spoodles measurement, you're going to see that 3/8 of a cup is the same as the 3-ounce spoodle. So you could use one or the other.
It's good to know.
Also very important, when you're scooping something, make sure that the scoop is leveled, either one of those, it doesn't matter which scoop, but you want to scoop your product, your fruit or vegetable, shake it, make sure it's leveled, and you actually want to make sure that you put all the entire scoop on the IVEX or the cup that you're using.
Okay.
Don't leave anything on the scoop. This way, the portion sizes are correct and all the servings are consistent.
So if you guys ever need help with volumes, weights, measurements, those things on your recipes, you can always reach out to Patricia Sartini and myself, Barbara Colbert. If you need to get in depth with volumes, weights, measurements on your recipe that you really don't understand, reach out to your dietitian of the Child Nutrition Department. So we hope you guys have a great year, and we hope to see you out there in the field.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, today,
Let's suppose that you need 8 ounces of marshmallow. You can see here, I have 8 ounces of marshmallow in there.
That's a lot of marshmallows.
Why is it giving me a different measurement for everything?
That's weird.
If you have 8 ounces of marshmallow, right? Maybe there's something on the table. There is a seam here. Okay, so now it's over. See how it was right before? That was interesting. There's 8 ounces by weight. Right? When you're using a scale, make sure that your table it's flat on the table.